on.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I thank you for coming tonight. If you have not summoned your telephones, would you please do that now? We have 7 candidates, as you know. 3 incumbents, John Mao, Bob Tolles, and Tom Trino. And 4 who have would like to run for a position: Michael Land, Barbara Jacks, Bob Geisler, and Marty Hill is the little guy there. Before we begin with your questions, I would like to ask each of the candidates here to state their name again and to tell you why they are running again, please. We'll start with the incumbents. John?
My name is John Mao. I've been here since 2018. I love this place. Sorry. I'd like to continue on. You'll always see me. I'm doing something. Somebody's calling me for ring cameras or speeding from the Jersey guys. I love the place. I'm in charge of safety and lighting. I'm retired law enforcement for 25 years with New York Corrections, 6 years with a police department, and then I was on a town board for 4 years, a school board for 4 years, a national soccer board for 10 years, and 2 years on this board. So I'd like to continue to volunteer my time and try to do the right thing for the community.
I'm Robert Tolles. I've been on the board for 2 years, the past year as president. The beginning has been a learning experience as far as the community and the community's needs. I feel that the board and my responsibility is to look out for the best interest of the community as a whole. That's financial, the appearance of the community, and the rules that we have in place. Sometimes those need adjustments, as Ann did this year, made some minor changes to those. I've been in the position of, deciding a tie vote. And that situation was a little bit unique. I felt there was a big misunderstanding in the audience, and we really didn't have a lot of time to go into it that night, so we kind of put it on hold. And we took care of that at a later date. I'd like to add to that we have rules in place, and those rules are meant to be enforced, which the board does the best job possible under the circumstances. All circumstances are different, but one thing that we didn't need to establish is having the board vote to actually enforce the rules. The rules need to be enforced without some motion like that. It's very dear to some people, and they are very passionate about the rules. Speeding might be one of those. So I'm dedicated to preserving the integrity of the community and keeping the financial health in order. And that includes things like contracts. And we are very diligent in reviewing and selecting a contractor. Anybody in here that's gotten bids on their house knows that contractors are all over the place here, and not all of them are all that honest. So we need to have somebody looking out for the community. in that aspect.
Thank you, Bob. Tom?
Good evening. I'm Tom Trino. My wife and I have, excuse me, my wife and I have lived here since 2014. I've been on the board 2 years, the past year as vice president. I would like to continue working for the people here in Pine Ridge on the board for another 2 years. I feel we've accomplished a lot in the last 2 years, mainly through teamwork and cooperation. The current board we've got is, in my opinion, one of the best boards we've had that work together, cooperate, we communicate well. We've got a lot of major and minor projects completed while here. As Bob mentioned, there are certain rules when you live in a homeowners association property like this. Everything outside your walls is common property, and it belongs to everybody here. So we do our best to maintain it, keep it beautiful, and make sure that we're not doing anything to disrupt the peaceful living of any of the residents here. The one thing we want to avoid is any appearance of selective enforcement, it's called, where one person gets to do something and another person does not. It's got to be an equal opportunity for everybody to enjoy the beautiful place we've got here at Pine Ridge. And it goes without saying, the reason we get a lot of things done and are able to work together so well is we've got a manager who is Johnny on the spot to assist in every project. Nothing gets by Eric that he doesn't have a say or an opinion or a contact or someone that we have we can work with. I appreciate that. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to show up tonight and hear what the folks here have to say. Thank you.
Mike?
Well, my name is Mike Lawlin. I served on the board for 8 years. The last 2 years I haven't been on it because I didn't run. There was some deal where the state law says you have to have 67% of the vote to be reelected after 8 years, so I just laid off a couple of years. But I'd like to get back involved in the community. I'd like to help out. I'd like to serve, and my word can be trusted. And I like to be active in the activities in the community, and on the previous boards that I was on, got quite a bit changed and quite a bit accomplished, as well as the actual work that needs to be done, excuse me, around here. I'll give Eric a lot of credit for that because he's Johnny on the spot on most things. It seems like he always does know somebody that he can get a better deal from, and he's a good negotiator. And I feel that I can help the board because I am easy to get along with. I don't have much of a temper, and I negotiate for what the better of the community is, even if it isn't exactly beneficial for myself. So with that said, I just appreciate your vote for another run of 2 years on the board, and thank you for the support that I had the other 8 years. So that's it.
Barbara?
Good evening. My name is Barbara Jacks. I have been a full-time resident here at Pine Ridge for 2.5 years. I am a retired school principal from a private school, which meant I had to handle budgets quite frequently and juggle things quite frequently to get things accomplished. We are all stakeholders in this community, and it's very important that you have representation that's going to listen and do the research. And I'm up to that task. And therefore, I ask that you do vote for me, because I think I can make a difference here in the community with all of you as stewards of this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Hi, my name is Bob Geisler. I've had over 20 years worth of experience in manufacturing, engineering, supervision, building, planning plants. Spent a few years as a senior buyer, writing and negotiating contracts with all types of vendors and contractors and that type of thing. I also served 8 years on the board at Oceans One Condominium in Daytona Beach. 6 years as treasurer there and 1 year as president before we sold out and retired. We went traveling. I feel that I live here. I need to help out here. So that's why I'm getting back in the board of directors market. So I appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Marty?
Good evening. Sorry I'm not there. My wife Joanne had knee surgery about 6 weeks ago. It would have been about 12 weeks ago, but she and I both got COVID. So they postponed it for 6 weeks. Otherwise, we've been there a couple weeks ago. But I've been in Pine Ridge, or we've been in Pine Ridge since 2009. And through the years, I've been asked a few times to run for the board. I've been a contractor for pretty much ever since I've been out of college. And I have over 5,000 customers. I have written, overseen, and installed, I have employees install over $75 million in business. So I sold my business last February in 2022, so about 11 months ago. And so now I got the time to be on the board. I want to be on the board. Through the years, Eric and other people on the board have asked me to look at things. In fact, I've been on quite a few of the roofs to inspect workmanship. I know construction as I should, almost 40 years from the ground up. I mean, from the foundation to the framing, to the electrical, to the plumbing, the roofing, siding, windows. So that's why I've been on those roofs to check. I've crawled through some of the attics and checked out structural where things have been hit by trees or broken rafters or trusses. And I just always felt good to try to help out. And I would do that regardless if I was on the board or not. But now I have the time, and I'd like to do that. I was also on an organization called NARIS, National Association of the Modeling Industry, and you get voted in by your peers. And for 5 years, I was on that board. It's a national organization with a local chapter in Rochester, New York. I got a bachelor's degree in business administration in 1981 from Lake Superior State College in Northern Michigan, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. I know Tom and Mike and a lot of you guys who probably recognize my face. You're going to see it a lot more now because I'm retired, which is good. Again, I'm starting out at that meeting. If it hadn't been for the COVID and my wife's surgery being prolonged, she had her final visit yesterday, so we'll be down this weekend. But anyways, what else can I tell you? I mean, I love the community. That's why I've been there for so many years, and really looking forward to enjoying the retirement. Looking forward to getting to know you guys more. Be involved. You won't see me sitting around the pool on my phone anymore with my day timer out there. I mean, some of you guys have probably seen me, but I think the biggest thing, if I can say anything, is I get along with people. Again, over 5,000 customers, and I know I have the experience and knowledge to really help out our community to make sure we're getting what we deserve. I can get on those roofs. I can look at the masonry work. I can look at the drywall and the seawall that needs to get built or rebuilt, or whatever. I can assist in that, and I know what works and what doesn't. And I had that experience now, as you can imagine. So I'm hopeful that I get on the board, but either way, I appreciate your vote.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we will entertain questions from the audience. Please, you may address your question to any individual board member, to 2 or to 7. I mean candidates, not board members, candidates. Please keep your responses as condensed and concise as you can, so that we can get out of here sometime tonight. Hopefully, we will have a lot of the audience who would like to ask questions. And who would like to be first? Sorry, I don't know all your names,
It's okay.
guys.
Hi, I'm Carol Redmore. Go Pickleball.
Hi, Carol.
Just a question about the website. I know that there was an attempt to update the community's website, and I know that we also took photographs back in the spring for those of us that were here. Does anyone have any interest in really fully developing our website and making it user-friendly, more up-to-date with calendaring facilities, things like that, that could be useful instead of, coming here having to grab a piece of paper on a monthly basis?
Tom, will you address that, please?
Absolutely. Thank you for the question. Good question. We ran into some programming difficulties with the vendor, and it took us, 7 or 8 months to get things ironed out, where the direct feed from our accounting system feeds into the new website, and it was on their end. We had a number of people working on it. Finally got those things resolved. So that's what caused the delay going forward. And this occurred just before the holidays in late November, early December. The software is working now. We took a hit over the holidays time-wise, but that website will be up, and it is operational now.
And more robust as far as calendaring?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All of your activities will be on there. We hope to be doing a weekly update, at minimum, a monthly update. There'll be a newsletter. You'll get all your bulletins on there, the email. The one thing I'm going to ask everyone for sure is, as you go to the website, you need to register yourself and indicate on there, you've got to check the boxes that gives us permission to create a directory with your name and address. And that's state law. Unfortunately, we can't just list everybody without their permission. So you'll be getting an email within the next 10 days or so. The directory you're referring to, the photo directory, that was finally just completed, rough draft, I believe in early December.
Sent to
wasn't
the
it?
printer. You would think we should get it any day, I would say, but
There was a lot of typos, and Eric went through and corrected them all, and it's back. And that will be available on the website. And we can do that one because everybody signed permission when they had their photo taken. So for sure, the photo directory will be in there. And you're going to get tired of hearing from me saying, sign up, register for the website directory, because we want that as complete as possible. Did I answer your questions?
Yes.
Probably more than you needed.
Okay, anyone else would like to question any of the candidates as to Kenny?
It's getting harder to get up in this place.
Maybe it's not the place's fault.
I've trouble everybody.
Well, first of all, I think you guys on the board have done a good job. The grounds look good. I know the circumstances with the hurricane didn't help any, but we had one of the largest HOA increases in 20 years that I've been here. And I know some of it's the insurance, and I think it's Florida Power and Light too, but my question is, and I think I'll address Bob on that, is in your resumes, you didn't say you were going to try to hold the HOA fees down or constant, but what is your plan to do that, if you're going to do it at all?
Recently, and that is a good question because I had it from a realtor recently. First off, we have no plans for any special assessments. The community is very healthy, as you know. We have had some major expenses because of the hurricane. We're in the middle of negotiating with our insurance company to see how that settles out. Due to Florida law, that's not gonna be a boatload of money. Eric can better advise you on that, but because of the way the law is and it's a hurricane, it's different than a single claim on your home. It's gonna take a little while to see where all that settles out. Why did we have an increase this year? Pretty much the only reason is because everything that we touch, purchase, contractors, everything has gone up. A lot more than the 14% or so that, it might vary a little bit.
12.5%.
It was under 15%. While some of the items that we purchase have gone up 50, 60% or more. Fuel is a big one, but the insurance went up drastically. Mostly, they're blaming that on the tower collapse over in Miami, Surfside. They still haven't shaken everything out, as they say, on the insurance side. And we could have another big increase on the insurance side. Other than that, just the inflation that everybody's going through. I'm a full-time resident. I have one property here. I'm on a fixed income like most of you. I don't want my expenses to go up. And I don't want to unnecessarily raise them just for collecting more money.
Right.
We do not have any special projects in mind. We are not putting a second floor on the clubhouse. We're not putting a fishing dock out into the lake. We're not building a resort swimming pool. We have no reason to have any special assessment or drastic increase other than the inflation aspect of it.
Okay, good.
And I really wish we could do something else to control that. We've had suggestions. Don't plant trees. Don't use mulch. And every one of those has a negative effect. We do not want this community's value to depreciate because we haven't done our job in maintaining the outward appearance of the whole grounds, everything within the boundaries of the fence, including the fence that's in state of repair to the hurricane. So that's another example. We just have realize we have another problem with our heater on our swimming pool that we need to address. Maybe the hurricane, the storm, stressed that out and caused it to fail. That's one of the things that we are working with on the insurance side of it. That's why at our previous meeting I mentioned about claims. And we don't want to start coming up with magical damage and claims. We want to get what this community justly deserves.
Yeah, and I think you should give yourself the benefit of the doubt. And if you think it was caused by the hurricane, shoot for it,
You know,
But my main concern is that
That's the call of the
everybody here
insurance
is sensitive to controlling that. I don't want this place to turn into a dump.
No.
We've worked very hard keeping it the way it is and improving it. And I think that, Eric has done a fantastic job with his negotiating, but I just want to make sure that everybody is sensitive to that and you'd work toward controlling our budgets.
So if I could summarize the way he responded to you was, there will be no drastic increase in maintenance other than what we need to maintain what we have promised the residents. Is that correct, Bob?
that is correct. We want to
Okay, good.
keep the value where it is. We don't want it to depreciate. Sure, we would like it to go up, but we're not gonna throw $1 million down to make that happen.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Thank you, Ann, for summarizing that.
You're welcome, Kenny, bye.
And I think that's something that's on everybody's mind.
All right, any other question that you'd like to address the candidate as to the way they're gonna run the next year? Carol?
Me again, sorry.
She knows you.
I actually read the budget and looked at the pie charts that were sent out. A significant amount of money was for cable TV, correct?
Correct.
And many of us are seasonal, and so we're not getting the full benefit of it. Is there, I'm not sure when our contract expires with Xfinity, and I see some laughter, so there's obviously something going
Yes,
on about this.
this is.
Well, we're required to
Sore
have,
subject.
the documents say
and-
we have to have it bulk television
Yeah.
contracts.
I'm sorry, our
Our-
association says that it's
The bylaws,
required?
yeah.
Oh, okay, well, that solves that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it is a lot cheaper. Our bylaws say we have to
Well, I
have
know,
bulk
Marcia,
television.
come on.
So could the bylaws be adjusted, voted on?
Yeah, all right, let's, please, Marcia has the floor.
Marcia Trino, I'm disclosing I'm married to that one. I have a question for those of you that aren't full-time residents. I've watched as we've lived the last couple of years down here full-time, and I think, what is your plan if you are not a full-time resident to be in contact with everybody else, so we don't have summers that just vegetate? So if you, any who are not full-time residents, if you could let us know how you keep in touch and be part of what's going on.
All right, Mike here is not a full-time resident.
Well, we usually communicate by telephone or by Skype over the internet. And only a phone call away. I don't work half the year. I've been called and been at the meetings when they needed me, and meetings that didn't need me, I just. What's he say?
He said that he's only a phone call away.
Only a phone call away, and when they needed me before, when I was on the board, they'd just give me a call, whether I was out hunting or doing whatever, and I'd be on the phone and at the meeting. And any other negotiations, they would just call me and we'd discuss it on the phone, or, like I said, we tried it with Skype a few times, but that didn't seem to work that well back then, but who knows about now.
Thank you. Marty, are you considering yourself a full-time resident now?
Well, I sold my business 11 months ago, so I would have been down there already, but I'm going to be planning on changing my residency. I probably will still live in Rochester, New York in the summers, because I own a few units down there. I'll be coming down more often. I plan on coming down at least every 2 months, and I always coordinate that with the meeting. Of course, I can do Skype or Zoom and a phone call too, but so I want to be there as much as possible because one, I like the cold weather, and once I become a resident of Florida, I don't have to pay New York State taxes, which are terrible. One thing I did want to mention, I forgot to mention, since someone brought about the insurance, I was also an Allstate insurance agent for 7 years, so I know quite a bit about the insurance business, about appreciation, about actual cash value, replacement costs. In fact, I'm one of the ones that a few years ago I sat in on a couple of meetings and gave some thought to some guys. I did that with Brown Insurance. I can't remember the one, but anyway. So back again to the question. Listen, I'll be there as much as I need to be there. I don't mind flying back and forth in the summer. In fact, I probably do that, like I said, at least every couple of months. How often are the meetings in the summer? Every month?
Well, technically they're scheduled, but we don't have, we don't have to have a meeting every month. However, ideally, that's what we have wanted to do.
I don't see it being a problem. Listen, I have vested interest just like everybody there. I just think that my experience in construction, I think you need someone like me on the board that can go look at a kitchen and bath roof, siding, windows. I mean, I have just as much interest as you guys in that, and I want to make sure it gets done. I know what a good job is. I can inspect it. I can help write a contract. I can help negotiate better pricing. And then, I very much like to be on the board. But I understand your concern about me not being there. That's why I never ran before, because I was still working full time. But now that I sold the business and retired, I can be there a lot more. So I plan on being there 6-7 months. I got to be there 6 months in a day to get a residency. So it'll probably be 7 months a year. So starting next year, that won't be a problem. I don't see that being a problem at all.
Thank you. Marcia, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
Hi, everybody. I've had a cold, so I don't want to contaminate you. I wanted to ask a question that how you would react, like all of you would react, because so many of the questions are like, what are you doing about this now, like the web now? But how would you react to a situation where we had a major investment that needed to be done to repair something here, like the pool or an amenity, and it's not in the budget, and this, I'm asking this because I really don't know, where do you get the money? And I think it's probably how you think in the business world. Where would you get the money to fix something if it's not in the budget? Because as residents, we always hear it's in the budget or it's not in the budget. So if you could tell us how you feel about how you would react if something went wrong and we needed to keep up the place, where would you get the money and how would you handle the situation? Is that a fair question to ask?
Yes, it's fair. Bob, can you answer that briefly, please?
Briefly,
I'd like.
Before you answer, Bob, there's 3 ways that the association gets money, or can get money. By assessing the residents, through the surplus that we've had from being under budget for so many years that we're fortunate to have a surplus, or borrow the money from the bank. So that's the 3 ways we have of getting money.
So it's not something that the board members would
Well,
jump on?
philosophically, I don't know what their position is on borrowing versus
The board
not owing
the
anything.
board would
But
have
tho-
to.
But those are the 3 methods that are available to us.
I might answer that a little bit. I don't know how familiar you are with reserves.
I
The
know what a
reserves
reserve
we have.
is.
Okay, we actually have 2 budgets. We have an operating budget and then we have a reserve budget. The reserve budgets are, some of them are required by state law that we put away money in, I call it a savings account. And we have multiple savings accounts. The state requires some for, like the roofs, that's a required one. The pavement out here, that's a required budget. And so if you'll look at the annual budget, you will see what these savings accounts are. And the pool, I think, is one of our reserve budgets, should be anyway.
yes, it is.
And so we are putting away money all the time so that if an emergency does come up, we have the reserve budget, or we have the reserve money in the bank to fix the swimming pool.
And I appreciate you saying that, because as a resident, you know, we often hear, well, it's not in the budget, or it'll be in next year's budget. So I was wondering how the board members would react to something that we really
And
needed.
like the roofs,
So thank
what's
you.
the life on the roof, 19, 20 years?
And the reserves are for things that we can anticipate
Right.
and plan ahead. Something unanticipated that was a big expense, that's where the board would, like a hurricane that really did a lot of damage, like many communities had. That would be where the board would have to decide.
Well, that and the membership, because there is methods that you can move money from one reserve budget to another, but I think it requires total membership approval to do that. But in the case of emergency, that would be a possibility thing that you could do.
The best example that I could come up with would be in the package that was mailed out to everybody, and that's where we're asking you to take a vote on on how this community is gonna control traffic devices, speed devices. So what that does is put that type of decision in the hands of the community. We're talking about speed bumps, radar signs, anything of that nature is gonna be a community decision. the board is not gonna be, depending on the vote, the board won't be able to just put speed bumps throughout the community without the vote of everybody in this community. Adding a fair amount of speed bumps would be pretty costly, and it would also increase the maintenance of the road and the repairs and everything else. So that might be an example of, we'll say, an unanticipated expense, something that's not in the budget. We don't have a speed bump fund going.
I didn't get the name of the woman who spoke last, but I've been here since '01. And before I came here, there was a serious problem with the pool, really bad, to the point where it was falling into the lake. And even there was talk about even moving it, but there was no place to move it. So it was a humongous expense. And there was a special assessment made. But that's the last time that's even been breathed in the 22 years I've been here. So pretty much are a financially healthy an organization, association, and if there is an emergency, we will be able to cover it. Are there any other questions pertaining to the way that you would like to address?
Before Bonnie gets there, can I just make a statement? So, for the last 7 years, Pine Ridge did not do a financial audit. Without a financial audit, a bank is not able to loan you money. We had one done this year. Can you hear me, Matt? Step in.
We can hear you.
We had a financial audit done to ensure that the bank would loan us money in case we had any disasters, say a building went down like in Miami. So we had that audit done, and we are good to go if we need to borrow any money at a moment's notice. Again, the financial audit will happen hopefully every other year, but you went 7 years without one. If you had a hurricane that came in and took down 4 of your buildings, the bank would be saying, listen, we don't know about your finances. So we've had that financial audit and we're covered. So, and we were all instrumental in doing that. So we met with some people at a actual training class that notified us, and the bank schooled us on it. So I think we're very well off.
Bonnie?
Sorry, Bonnie.
No, that's fine. I'm Bonnie Robertson. I'd like to thank you for your past service, of course, and for you folks willing to run, which is great. I actually have a comment more than a question. I don't know how many people out here haven't voted already, but I know I did prior to this night. So in the future, I was just wondering, maybe we could have this before people would mail in, because I would think the office has an awful lot of, I mean, what's the percentage of things already in?
We have some people who voted. The statute requires us to mail out the ballots and everything a certain amount of days beforehand.
So can we meet the candidate very close to that mailing? I just think that.
Because of the hurricane.
Well, we have Christmas and New Year's and everything, and then a hurricane.
When did you mail the things?
December 18th.
Actually, we were a month late this year because of the hurricane.
Oh, but normally, this would be sooner.
Well,
Okay.
it's just before the vote, the ballots don't have to be in until the meeting, which is the 19th, so
Normally
it's before.
But
We
I would
mail it
think
out
most
the
people
third
have
week
already
of,
mailed them in, but,
Yeah.
oh well, thank you.
You know.
We notify you to meet the candidates in the back.
Any other questions?
Our website could advertise that
Excuse
we're gonna
me,
have
please.
meet the candidates.
I don't think we're for it.
Marty, are you still here or not? All right, then start with Bob. Would you just make one quick closing comment to the audience? And then we'll adjourn and hope that we don't drive on the way home.
Yeah, that was pretty wet.
It's fine.
Everybody's concerned about rates going up and that kind of thing.
Please be polite.
I can say I hate special assessments. They are a last resort. And I hate increases unless necessary. And I worry right now because of inflation. How it's going to affect us in the long run, not only in the operating budgets, but in the reserve budgets, where we have to have the cost of putting roofs on, repaving driveways, and how those costs could be going up. Other than that, thank you, and vote for me.
Yeah, Barbara?
Again, I am concerned, like everyone else, about budgeting and finance and how we're gonna make ends meet. As we all know, even though we did get an increase in Social Security and whatever other benefits folks have, a lot of it is eaten up by inflation. And we need to be great stewards of our money here in the community and make sure that we're spending it in the most appropriate ways for everyone in the community.
Thank you.
And I hope you vote for me. Thank you.
Barbara, we put it back by Marty. He's back, and Marty, he's back up. Marty, closing argument, closing comments, please.
Yes.
Again, I've been here a lot of years. I love the community, and I'm enjoying retirement and looking forward to being there a lot more. And like I said, when I sit around the pool, you guys get bored in the clubhouse. You don't see me with a pen and a phone in my ear and what have you. So now I have the time to spend with the community. I have time to help be on committees. I have time to look at these contractors, see if they're doing a good job. I have the knowledge and skills to know they do a good job. I know how to write a contract. I was an Allstate insurance agent for 6 or 7 years as well, so I know the insurance business, and I know the rates have really gone up, which, I can help, I understand, the business, but again, the big thing, I'll be part of the community, and I'll be available. I'm very approachable. I mean, I know Tom and Mike quite well. In fact, Tom, when he first came down, he rented for me one time, so, but either way, I love the place, and I'm approachable, and I'm not argumentative, and I know it takes us all, and I'm really hoping people approach me at any time. Certainly, I don't have all the answers, none of us do, and we're all community, we're all in this together, and the more that we get involved, the more we hear everybody out, the more that we can all have a better community. So everyone's input is important, and I hope you vote for it. But either way, glad to be part of Pine Ridge, looking forward to seeing you guys a lot more. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mike?
Again, I want to say that no one in here or no one on the board likes increases in condo fees or any increases. And I'm positive that the increases are only added because of necessity to keep the community in the shape that it's in, and for any future, like I say, we have the reserves for the stuff that happens all the time. And we've been a community since, 1985? So there's pretty much nothing that happens other than a building collapsing that we don't have reserves for. And like I say, no one likes increases. We all are on the board, we all have properties that if you get an increase, we get an increase. So I think that it's always been tried to been kept under control, and I'm sure in the future it will be also. And I'm just putting my candidacy out there because I'm willing to serve again like I have in the past. And I'd appreciate your vote, and thank you for listening.
I'll just echo what everyone else here has said. None of us likes increases in our dues. You have to take into account our current situation. We're at a state of inflation that's 42 years since it's been this high. And if you recall, and I think all of you were around in the early 80s, it went on for 3, 4, 5 years. And I believe it topped out at 18.5%. I know mortgage interest rates were 21% during that time. And it was basically due to mismanagement by our government, but that's another story. But keep in mind, the inflation you feel at the grocery store, every expense we've got here has been hammered by inflation, okay? Another issue we've got going, we have 30, 35-year-old infrastructure. We spent over 20 grand last year just repairing some old sewer pipes that had no attention for 35 years. Well, coincidentally, 2 of them broke. We've got some electrical issues that need to be addressed. We've been fortunate here for 30, 35 years not to have major things like this occurring, but we're going to start seeing more and more of this, and that's why we have these reserves. And don't anybody worry about the financial stability of this HOA. Due to everybody's hard work over the years, we've got millions in reserve. And if you take a look at the budget, it's all there, it's your information. But it was one of our decisions to purchase here 8 years ago was the financial stability of this community. It's a big deal. And I just want to say, in addition to the problems, financial problems that are costing everybody today, this board is very well run, and it has been since I've been here for 8 years. And I think you can trust the group we've got in here now to be very responsible. Every one of us is really tight-fisted with our own money and especially with your money. And I think you can look forward to good management in the next couple of years coming. Thank you for coming out today.
Bob?
If you want to hear about inflation, you can turn the news on. I'm going to talk about what we've done as a board. We've set the bar pretty high as far as I'm concerned. How many hours you got to put in to be on the board? You don't have to put any in except for maybe one when you come to the board meeting. I have put in 10, 20 hours a week working for this community and developing projects that could be accomplished and save money. I had 15 or more people helping on the bocce ball court. It was great. It's projects like that that we can organize and save the community money and have a little bit of a community project going. I want to save you money. I want to save myself money. I am a single unit owner. I own one property here. My interests are the same as the majority of you folks. You have one property, you're concerned about your one property. I don't rent my property out and I don't profit off of Pine Ridge. I had a recent call from somebody that was very concerned that the rates went up. They have never, ever been here. I'm concerned about the people that are here. I live on Blackberry, 365 days. You can stop me, I'll talk to you, I'll answer your questions. You might not like the answer, but the answer is going to be what's best for the community. I really appreciate being on the board and serving and giving my knowledge and time to the community. Thank you very much.
And John?
So it is our fiduciary responsibility to make sure that all of the funds are used appropriately. we have attorneys, we have bookkeepers, we have everybody watching over our shoulder. We're not looking to spend the money, I can assure you that. As far as your increases, there's only 2 insurance companies in the state of Florida that actually will insure condo associations or homeowners associations. So your bills are gonna go up. So I'm gonna tell you the truth, just like everybody else is. They're gonna go up. With this hurricane, it's gonna go up. We are trying our best. We all don't wanna spend money. So I'm just giving you a heads up, and unfortunately, most of us tell it like it is. So, we always will look out for you. I love this place. We had the hurricane, where there were people that were from age 8 to 80 that came out that morning and helped us clear brush from the streets so we could get the police in, the ambulance in. You know, everybody came together. And I believe that that is, again, one of our great prides and traditions here at Pine Ridge. We all love you, we all love this community, and we're gonna try our best for you. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being willing to volunteer. I would like to thank the ladies and gentlemen in the audience for having interest to come down here tonight to see what was going on and to meet the candidates. At this point, the meeting is adjourned.
I would like to make one comment. There is an open position due to Scott Harris resigning from the board due to health conditions. Scott is on his way back here. He served the community well. And I just ask that you show him your respect. See it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for moderating.
You're welcome tonight.
I wouldn't pay for the one where you just touch it. I should have I had one where you could just touch the bell. So the old-fashioned one.